welcome you to another episode of Harmonious Class. Today, we are going to learn how to describe a mattress. Mattress comes in different forms and in different shapes. How would you describe a mattress? As discussed, mattress are being stated by its dimension. So when a mattress is given, how will you name it? How will you describe it? Now, we know in our previous class that mattress comes in rows and in colors. One may ask, what is a row and what is a color? Let's see. We know what you call arrays. We know this is called a rectangular array. Now, one may ask, what is a row? A row is a horizontal array. And this is an illustration of a horizontal array. And color is also known as the vertical array. So in the dimension of mattress, we have rows and column. Let's consider this mattress B. This mattress B contains these elements and they are being arranged in rows and in columns. When we look at the A and C, the A and C are called row 1 because they form a horizontal array. So this is a row. When we look at the element B and D, they also form a row. So we should name it row 2. So it also forms a horizontal array. Now, when we compare this to this, we have other elements A and B. A and B are being aligned vertically. So it is called a column because we say columns are what vertical array. So A and B are arranged vertically, so it is called a vertical array. C and D is also called a vertical array. So how will you name this mattress? Now, mattresses are being named as row by column. So if mattresses are being named in row by column, how will you name it? How many elements do you see in the row? We have row 1 and row 2. So it means that we have 2 rows in the matrix A. So it's 2 by how many columns do you see here? We have 2 columns. So it's a 2 by 2 matrix. Now, with the little knowledge we had in our previous lesson, let's try and see if we can name the following matrices. So we have the component A and B. How will you name I? We already know that matrices are being named as what? Row and column. So you ask yourself, how many rows do you see here? And we know rows are the horizontal arrays. So how many rows do you see here? What is the horizontal array? The horizontal array talks about here. It's only one. We have only one horizontal array. And how many columns do you see there? We have this to be the column 1 and this to be the column 2. So with the help of this, how will you name this? This is known as 1 by 2 matrix. Now let's move to the II. The II has components A and B. So the same idea, how many rows, how many columns do you have in B? So how many rows and column? So if you look at the matrix B, the II, we have A and B. When we say rows, rows talk about the horizontal array. So how many horizontal arrays do you see? We see this to be this to be that. So how many rows do you see there? We see 2 rows. And how many columns? We see only 1 column. So we have 2 by 1 matrix. Let's try and name the III. The III has components A, B, C, and D. How many rows do you see? How many columns do you see? So we have rows and columns. So if you look at the matrix III, you can see that we have two rows. And how many columns do you see? We have this to be the column 1 and that to be the column 2. So it means we have 2 rows and 2 columns. So it's called 2 by 2 matrix. Now let's try and name the ivy. Ivy has components A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. So the same idea. How many rows do you see and how many columns do you see? With this, we can see that we have this to be row 1, this to be row 2, and this to be row 3. So it means that we have 3 rows in ivy. So it's 3. How many columns do you see? We have here this to be the column 1, this to be column 2, and this to be column 3. So you have 3 by 3 matrix. So with this, I hope we can name vein and vein I.